From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, March 31st. It is the last day of March. That's wild to think about. Almost to April, and it finally feels really nice outside. In the mid-50s, going to be 60s this morning. High could be around 81 degrees. Yesterday was beautiful. Today's going to have a few more clouds out there. Also windy like yesterday. Do expect some scattered storms possible tonight.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Speedway's town council has voted to take action on the abandoned Wilshaw Hotel. News 8's Kat Sandoval reports.
You could see the metal frame sticking out of the foundations and the walls of windows outlined. After 7 years, town councilors voted overwhelmingly to take steps to develop this land.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That passes 5-0.
Residents tell me the Wilshaw Hotel is an eyesore, particularly because it's right across the street from Gate 1 of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Please bear with us. We hear you, and we're taking this step to make sure that the project gets completed.
At Monday's meeting, the town council voted to appraise the property to acquire the land through negotiations with its owner or a potential use of eminent domain.
Now, finally, I think the town is in a position where I think they've had enough. I know that they know that the community has had enough. Jeff
Matthews, a former Speedway town councilor, just opened up a brand new coffee shop across the street from the abandoned structure.
What I would like to see is first floor retail, whether it be a market or another sports bar, but no coffee shop. But on the second, third, and fourth floor, I would love to see a parking structure.
The initial project was supposed to be a 5-story, 127-room hotel, but it's remained untouched for years due to multiple owners and financing.
Sat idle for 7 years now. Why is now any different? Why wasn't this action taken after 1 year of idleness or 3 years of idleness? Why did it take 7? What has changed, and what aren't they communicating to us residents about what's changed?
Town council president tells me the first step is to acquire the land so it's not a public nuisance. And once there are bids or future projects, they will open it up for public feedback. I'm Kat Sandoval for Wish TV, wishtv.com.
Prosecutors in Westfield say investigators found large amounts of marijuana and cash in a murder victim's home. He was a professional poker player. The suspect was in court for the first time yesterday. News 8's Garrett Berquist was there and went through the court documents in the case.
Investigators say it's the first murder in Westfield in about 7 or 8 years. They say someone called police to this home on State Road 32 on March 12th for a welfare check. Officers found James Matthew Lucian dead from multiple gunshot wounds.
Over the next 15 days, detectives worked tirelessly to follow up on leads, process evidence, and conduct additional interviews.
Lucian played poker internationally. Friends and relatives told police he also dealt marijuana. Police found almost 1 pound of it inside the home and another 11 pounds in a safe in a nearby structure. Prosecutors say they found Ronald Brown Jr. had paid Lucian nearly $18,000 through Cash App for more than a year. They say sources told them Brown was paying Lucian back for marijuana he had obtained to sell. Police served search warrants at 3 locations in Indianapolis on the morning of March 27th and arrested Brown. They found large amounts of marijuana and cash and a handgun and ammunition that matched casings found at the murder scene. Brown made his first court appearance Monday afternoon.
I have investigated and supervised a lot of homicide investigations at my previous department, and I can say that the work done by the investigators in this case was exceptional and some of the best that I've ever seen.
Prosecutors say they have some theories about motive, but they're circumstantial right now. Brown faces a murder charge with a firearm enhancement. He could face anywhere from 50 to 85 years in prison if convicted. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Thousands of basketball fans will be in Indianapolis this weekend for the Final Four. City leaders expect more than $400 million in economic impact. News 8's Malia Van Ostrin shows us how hotels, restaurants, and bars are getting ready.
Hotels are already seeing a surge in reservations, some already booked solid as fans from across the country make plans to be here.
I would say today's the quiet before the storm. The kitchens are busy prepping, getting all the rooms ready for all the guests checking in over the long weekend.
Lockett says guests will start checking in on Thursday and they're fully booked through Tuesday. Hotel management has all hands on deck and are adjusting operations to prepare for a fast-paced weekend.
We still, on game days, Saturday and Monday, we'll see the public come to the rooftop bar here in Estrella, so it'll be a lot of guests, yeah.
And it's not just hotels. Businesses across downtown are prepared for a high-volume weekend.
So thrilled to be able to have so many local businesses on display, so many local artists and creatives on display for what's really a national and even international audience.
Businesses say the event is one of the largest economic opportunities of the year as downtown restaurants, shops, and entertainment spots increase inventory and prepare for thousands of visitors.
It's incredible for these businesses. We see the ripple impacts not just here in the core of our kind of entertainment district, but throughout the downtown area as attendees want to go and explore in their downtime.
Close to all the games, right off Monument Circle, of course, a couple short blocks away from the concerts. So it's nice when there's so much going on in different corners of downtown to kind of be in a central location for that.
In Indianapolis, I'm Aaliyah Van Ostrand for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Downtown Indianapolis is getting ready for the Madness 2 this weekend. The Men's Final Four Fest tips off on Friday at the Convention Center. Just steps away on Georgia Street, you can find the Final Four tip-off tailgate. Friday and Saturday, the March Madness Music Festival takes over the American Legion Mall between Meridian and Pennsylvania. Then on Sunday, young fans can be in the Final Four dribble at Carroll Stadium, where kids parade through downtown and finish at Fan Fest. We've made it easy for you to see the full map and all of the activities around the city. Just go to wishtv.com and find the story. Ahead of the Final Four, the NCAA is recognizing community leaders here in Indianapolis for their service and commitment to addressing local issues. The NCAA held its Legends and Legacy Community Awards ceremony last night at the Indiana Roof Ballroom. Organizers give the awards each year to people who live in the Final Four host cities. Honorees this year include Tamika Catchings and Jim Morris.
These are folks who are unsung heroes and don't get the recognition they rightly deserve. So being able to use the Final Four spotlight to highlight the work that they're doing in the community means a lot to the NCAA.
The NCAA says the honorees this year exemplify selflessness and give extraordinary service to Indianapolis and the surrounding communities. Purdue may not be playing in the Final Four, but one of its star players will be part of the fun downtown. Boilermakers senior guard Fletcher Loyer will compete in the annual three-point championship inside Hinkle Fieldhouse at Butler University. It's on Friday. Loyer broke the Boilermakers program record for the most career three-pointers made, topping out at 309. IU women's guard Shea Chesky will compete in the women's three-point contest. She led the Hoosiers in scoring this past season, averaging almost 23 points per game. The slam dunk and three-point championships start at 7 in the evening. Tickets start at $29. The Chicago Bulls say they have waived former Purdue guard Jaden Ivey due to conduct detrimental to the team. The Bulls announced the cut last night. Ivey had come under fire for anti-LGBTQ comments and remarks on religion on his Instagram account. Bulls coach says that the team has employees from all walks of life, and Ivey's comments do not reflect their values. If you're a member at Conner Prairie, you can check out the new reimagined Museum Experience Center today. It opens to the rest of the public on Friday. Officials cut the ribbon for the new center yesterday. Organizers say it features immersive exhibits like Power of Place, Wellspring, and Spark Lab. The museum says there are hands-on experiences in history, science, art, and innovation for all ages. Organizers say that this is a bold new chapter for Conner Prairie, bringing interactive learning and inspiration to people visiting all year.
And this has been a long time coming, about 8 or 9 years of planning and 28 months of demolition and construction. But what we're opening today is really a new experience. It's a year-round attraction, a year-round experience for Conner Prairie. So for all the people who have been coming here for generations now, enjoying Prairie Town, enjoying all the festivals and events, there's always been that downtime during the wintertime when it's cold where you couldn't get outside and such. Now we have a facility and we're literally going to be open 6 days a week.
Burns also says the new center will feature national traveling exhibits for the first time. The first one will be there in June. Details on that exhibit are expected to be announced soon. Indianapolis-based Lilly could soon be using artificial intelligence to discover new drugs. Lilly announced a partnership with in silico medicine for oral drugs discovered by its AI model. The two companies will also work together in research and development. Lilly is paying the company $115 million up front. Court filings reveal that the deal is worth $2.75 billion. Now to the conflict in Iran. President Trump says great progress has been made in talks with Iran. In a Truth Social post, Trump says talks are going well. However, Iran says they are not.
As I have mentioned before, the material conveyed to us under any title, such as the 15-point plan, has mainly included largely excessive, unrealistic, and unreasonable demands.
President Trump detailed some of the consequences if a deal is not reached. He says if the Strait of Hormuz is not immediately opened, the U.S. will blow up Iran's oil wells. Trump also gave an April 6th deadline to reach a deal with Tehran. That is Monday next week. He says that after the U.S. would begin targeting Iranian energy sites. Global oil prices jumped yesterday over fears of the ongoing conflict in Iran and that they'll last longer. Analysts warn that if the conflict stretches into June, oil prices could rise over $200. The U.S. crude oil benchmark currently sits just over $100. Experts say if the price of oil crosses $200, a gallon of gas could cost $7. Right now, the national average is $4.01. That's according to AAA. That's the highest price since 2022. Experts say many families are already making decisions to protect their budgets.
Some people are even going and filling up with gas a day or two early to get ahead of things because they know that it's probably going to cost more in a few days.
Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve chairman says it is too early for the nation's central bank to gauge how the conflict will impact the U.S. economy and inflation. Security lines at airports across the country are shorter this week since TSA agents started getting back pay. Hours-long lines have been normal at major hubs during the partial government shutdown. They were caused by staffing issues with TSA because agents had been working without pay since the shutdown began in February. It is estimated that at least 500 TSA agents have quit. Then last week, President Trump signed an executive order to pay TSA employees, but the Department of Homeland Security is still shut down. Now TSA workers are worried the shutdown will keep people away from the job in general.
That is going to hinder recruiting. I think it's so much media attention around this that it's going to hinder recruiting. People are not going to want to take the job.
TSA's union leaders say back pay will not fix the problems that the agency is facing. Okay, now to the investigation into the synagogue attack in Michigan about 3 weeks ago. The FBI has new information. Reed Binion reports.
Based on the evidence gathered to date, we assess this attack to be a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism, purposely targeting the Jewish community.
The FBI on Monday confirming what had been widely suspected, that the attack on the largest Jewish temple in Michigan earlier this month was an act of terrorism. It happened on March 12th when the assailant rammed a pickup truck into the synagogue as more than 100 children were attending school inside. He hit a security officer before the vehicle got wedged in a hallway. There was an exchange of gunfire with synagogue security officers before the attacker shot and killed himself. The truck caught fire and caused extensive damage to the building. According to the FBI, the vehicle was filled with more than $2,000 worth of commercial-grade fireworks and roughly 35 gallons of gasoline, which investigators say the attacker used to enhance the explosion. The attacker was a naturalized U.S. citizen. Authorities say a week prior to the attack, members of his family in Lebanon, including 2 brothers, were killed in an Israeli airstrike in the war with Iran. The Israeli military said one of his brothers was a Hezbollah commander.
A review of his online activity since January 2026 revealed a reoccurring search history of pro-Hezbollah news channels, Iranian news channels, and videos about shootouts and bullets.
I'm Reed Binion for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.